You're watching TOON TV, full time in the FA Cup quarter-final. Manchester City have won 2-0 and they fully deserve it. Well done to Manchester City. But I sense a rant on this video tonight because I'm absolutely fucking fuming with the way we played in that match today. It's an FA Cup quarter-final and we're playing five at the back. And the team selection for me was all wrong from the very start. We offered absolutely nothing in that game for possibly 5 minutes in the second half, which could have got with the equaliser. But for the game itself, it was all Manchester City. I understand it is Man City. They're a good side. They've got quality. They're probably going to go on and win the FA Cup. Fair play to them. They've got the luxury of, playing the ball really well, tick-a-tack of football. But we didn't lay a glove on them at times in that game. We looked lost. We looked lethargic. We looked all over the place. And for me, five at the back against Manchester City. I said in the preview, go with the formation that is working, where we're getting more of the ball and we're actually getting shots away at the keeper. And today, if I'm not wrong, we got a couple of shots at the keeper, if that. We didn't do anything in that game to suggest that we deserved to go through to the semi-final against Arsenal. And when you go five at the back, you're basically just telling Manchester City that, yep, you've got the quality, we are vulnerable, come and break it down and see how many goals you can score, because that's exactly what it was this evening. We offered absolutely nothing in that game to suggest that we gave ourselves a chance. And I'm just fuming with the squad selection as well. For me, why was Dubravka not starting? Why was Carl Darlow starting this game? I understand he's a cup goalkeeper, but Martin Dubravka is our best keeper at the football club by far. One of the best keepers in the Premier League, and he's not starting. Why are you saving Dubravka for Bournemouth when this is probably one of the biggest games in the club's history in a long time? And you go out with practically a weak side with five at the back where you don't give yourself a chance to attack Manchester City. You'll all say in the comments, oh, well, it's Manchester City, you need to play five at the back. No, we don't. I don't give a shit who we're up against. It's Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. I don't care less. And I'm sorry about the language, but at the end of the day, I'd rather lose 4-5-6-0 playing the 4-2-3-1 formation where we give ourselves a chance. Yes, it was always going to be a difficult game from the very start, with no fans being there in the fixture itself. We've probably been given the biggest fixture and toughest fixture of the quarter-final. And I expected Manchester City, if they turned up, they'd probably go through. I gave us a chance of winning the game if we put out a good enough side that was capable of winning the game. But we didn't. We didn't give ourselves that chance. In the first half, Man City were all over us. And they had something like 85% of the possession. We were all over the place. We were at 6s and 7s and we still couldn't defend properly. And we were defending so well to a point where the pressure from Manchester City was just too much for the defence. And that moment of madness by Fabian Schär, when he brings down Jesus, you don't need to do it. Jesus is going absolutely nowhere. He's not even winning the ball. For me, I think Darlow actually goes for that and he gets it, he claims it, and it's still 0-0. You go for him not once, but twice. When you do that in the box, it's foolish because you're basically giving the referee a decision, Lee Mason, to make that penalty call. And I have to say it was spot on. And Man City, on the possession play, the way they started the game, they deserved, that call. They deserved to take the lead through Kevin De Bruyne. He made no mistake, and we're 1-0 down, and we're pretty much chasing the game if we hadn't been from the very start. And I'm just disappointed because, when you play the five at the back, it does not fucking work. We've been beaten off the likes of Leicester, Norwich. And Steve Bruce, fair play to him, he changed it and, we started getting results. But not against Manchester City, man. You've got to go toe-to-toe with them. And we didn't. Man City were by far too good for us today. They were a class above. And I felt sorry for the likes of St. Maximin in the first half because he was trying to win the ball. He was trying to, do something with the possession that we sort of had. But we kept giving it away every 5 seconds. And you can't afford to do that against Manchester City because they'll carve you open like knife through butter. And that's just the way it went through that first half. And I couldn't wait to get into half time for something to potentially change in the second half. And for me, there was no change in the second half. For me, we didn't really offer anything at all. Something had to change because Andy Carroll was losing his head. He was not really in the game and we needed to make those changes. Almiron had to come off. Andy Carroll come off. Dwight Gale come on. And we're seeing Joe Linton as well. I'm just disappointed that we didn't see Dwight Gale from the very start because he would have worked in the formation that we used against the likes of Sheffield United and Aston Villa. But to bring them on, after the 60th minute, when, we're still chasing the game at 1-0, it's just not good enough. And we had that big chance when St. Maximin won the ball on the left-hand side, and he squares it across to Dwight Gale. And for me, he's unmarked. He's got to hit the target. You've got to hit the target with that. I'm sorry to say, I've been backing him. I've been saying he can become a good player, if he's given the right service. Well, that was great service, and he just wasn't there to put the ball in the back of the net. And Bravo must have been the most relieved man on the field this evening, because for me, that should be 1-1, and that may have changed the game. And for me, the game was pretty much done. Apart from Andy Carroll's feeble shot in the first half, where Bravo really didn't have to do much with it, we've very rarely offered anything in that game, and it's disappointing, because at the end of the day, right, I'd rather lose 5-6-0 if we go toe-to-toe with Man City, if we can get some shots away with the 4-2-3-1 formation. But I've never been this angry in a long time. I'm not bitter that the fact we've lost the game. It's probably expected. But I think if anybody was watching that match on the BBC, where the game's been screened around the world, you'll see how pathetic it was from, a Newcastle fan's point of view. That's why I'm frustrated, because, at the end of the day, there's a chance missed. There's been a chance missed, because if we'd went with the formation from normal, we would have actually give ourselves that chance. Who knows, if we'd started off on the front foot like we did against the likes of Sheffield United, Aston Villa, and we maybe took the lead, who knows where the game could have went? Who knows where the game could have went if we'd drawn 1-1, if Gale had put the ball in the back of the net and he maybe reverted to the 4-2-3-1 formation. But he didn't. He stuck with it, and Man City were just literally peppering a goal, and we couldn't live with them. And they should have really won the game by, a lot more this evening, and we're lucky to have even just lost the game 2-0, because when you make those changes in the game, and when you make those changes at the very start of a game, and when you change the formation to 5 at the back, then you're just asking for trouble. And it just felt as if Steve Bruce was thinking, oh, well, it was just a one-off game. It's Manchester City. It's a quarter-final of the FA Cup, where you could make a name for yourself if you take the club the long way of maybe trying to win it. I'm not saying we're going to win the FA Cup, but give yourself that chance. You put the strongest lineup possible for the game, and we just didn't. I felt sorry for even Almiron coming off in that second half, because he looked down as if we just accepted defeat from the very start. And fair play to Man City for that, that tick-a-tack football, the way they play, and they're a great side and they spend a lot of money. But I don't buy the excuse of, well, actually, let's just focus on Bournemouth, let's just stay in the Premier League attitude, because this was a huge game, and I gave her a chance. I don't like to back against the lads, because at the end of the day, with the good run that we had, we've really let ourselves down tonight big time. We've let ourselves down, and who knows, we'll probably never ever be back in the quarterfinals again under this regime, unless something changes. Because for me, I don't know what more I can say about it. I don't think I can give one person on that field man of the match. Not one person. You could say maybe Danny Rose for clearing a few off the line. But I'm sorry to say, but Raheem Sterling, De Bruyne, Jesus, they had it all over the place. We couldn't live with Manchester City, all down to the way we're set up. And I will say once more, I'm not bitter about the defeat. Well done to Manchester City, you deserve it. That's not like I'm saying you didn't deserve it, you did. But we gave you too much respect. And if you give Manchester City too much respect, then they're going to punish you time and time again. And that's exactly what we did. And in the end, we've gone out with a whimper. We really have. We haven't tried. And I feel sorry for anybody or any Newcastle fans watching that game this evening, because, our hope's been lost with just negative defending, negative style of playing. And I've never been this angry, because I want to see the best for the club. It doesn't matter who the owner is, who the manager is. As a Newcastle United fan, or any fan, if you make it to this stage of a competition, you want to give yourself a chance. It doesn't matter who you play. But when I seen the lineup and I just seen the players on the field, I was just disappointed, and I just knew the way the game was going. And I'm just absolutely livid. You can bring on the likes of Federico Fernandez, but for me and Lazaro, the game is done at 2-0. Man City, they fully deserve it. And we need to see some big changes next season, because I tell you what, if we don't address this squad, if we don't get in better quality up front, then I'm sorry to say, but we're in a relegation battle. It's simple as that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm angry. I've seen it throughout the whole season. Yes, we've picked up some great results. We're going to stay up. But I just don't like that attitude. The fact that we've got into the game, let's just focus on Bournemouth. It's a long way to go. We need to try and stay in the Premier League. We're on 39 points, for goodness sake. 39 points. We're going to get 40 points. I'm confident of it. But for me, there's a huge chance missed tonight, and we'll have to, dress ourselves down and go again for Bournemouth, but the confidence is not going to be as high because there was a chance there where we could have potentially be playing Arsenal, but there we go. The better team won Manchester City, and Raheem Sterling was given man of the match. He fully deserves it because he was the best man on the park, and we couldn't live with Manchester City the best of times, and I don't know what more I can say about it apart from we've went out with a whimper. We're out the FA Cup, and the reality is now our season's pretty much done. This season is done. The season ends here. The season ends here. Don't get us wrong. If I was to credit anybody, I'll say it's the defence because the way we're set up. But we didn't really give ourselves a chance up front, and that midfield couldn't do much because we're soaking up the pressure. We're giving Manchester City the respect. Fair play to Manchester City. We'll have to move on now. Leave me your comments down below. Hit the like button if you found this video helpful. Not that you probably will have done, but just absolutely frustrated. It's disappointing the fact that we've had a couple of decent results and we've let our standards slip. We've gone back to reality of the five at the back, and we must move on. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. There's plenty more content coming your way. The Bournemouth match preview tomorrow in the afternoon, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to follow me on social media, TOON TV, and I'll catch you in a bit. How are the lads?